What's next? God works in mysterious ways. That is so unequivocally, undeniably untrue. God does not work in mysterious ways. God, source, your higher self, your spirit guides, they're very straightforward in how they work. The problems we have comes from us being focused on made up problems in our lives. Focus on our physical world so much that we miss the easy information led to us, given to us, offered to us by Source, by our spirit guides, by our higher self. It's very straightforward, and unfortunately, we get so focused on obstacles that we made ourselves, perceptions of what happened before that actually don't affect us anymore, perceptions of a history that doesn't exist, perception of a future that is based off misinformation from our own unequal misunderstanding perspective, based on what other people might think of us, that actually they don't think of us whatsoever. We're barely a blip in their radar. So a lot of the problems we make up in life, that we focus so much on how other people think of us, what problems you had in the past and what problems you're going to have in the future, are actually balloons that are easy to pop. And once you remove the obstacles that actually don't exist, that we made up, that we put there by ourselves, just throw them away and open ourselves up to see all the subtle clues all around us. And as we learn to look for the subtle clues, they become less subtle. They're very straightforward. I mean, we have to rely on others to tell us our future. Well, you're empowering someone else to help you. That kind of takes away some of your power. So, if you're religious, you go to a priest for help. There's no reason to, because you have a direct contact with God. When you go through the priest or go through a guru who supposedly has a better connection to Source, you're only getting their perception of your problem. You're not really getting your problems. You're not really getting your solutions. And Source will always give you all the tools you need to deal with the obstacles in your path. And the obstacles that are real, that are going to be there, because even the most perfect life needs a little bit of conflict. Even the most perfect life needs a little bit of stress for us to evolve and for us to progress forward into a higher state of being. So that's part of the plan, is that we're going to have a few hiccups in the road. But Source flat out makes it easy for us. They're not really big problems. They're not big obstacles. But we, as physical beings, for some reason, throw on history that we know. Okay, this is what we know from before, and this is what this indicates. No, history's gone. Then there's the idea of, okay, this is what I have right in front of me, and it's going to blow up into something else in the future. No, this is what you have in front of you. Deal with it as is, and forget about what it indicates for the future, because the future is not even written yet. And you think, oh no, here's a problem I have with someone else. They hate me. They think negative about me. They don't think I do my part. Well, have you talked to them? Have you discussed it with them? Unless someone goes to you directly and tells you exactly what they think of you, don't assume anything. Because most people actually think very little about you, because they're mostly thinking about their own problems in their own life. So if you have an issue with someone else, it's better to get it out of the way. And if you can't have a nice, civil, compassionate conversation with somebody, it's not important anymore, because really, if you can't have a conversation with somebody, any problems you have with them, they don't exist. Because really, your goal should be keeping your life in alignment. Other lives are out of your control. So you take control of the obstacles actually in your life. You can't fix anyone else's problems. Yes, we can, if we're powerful enough healers, we can offer healing energy to someone else. But it's kind of like a gift, a tool. When you heal healing energy to somebody else, they have to pick it up and use it. You can't heal someone else. You give them healing energy. You give them tools to help themselves. You can't fix someone else's problems unless they pick up the tools and use them. You can't just make someone else's life better without them taking the effort in themselves. And sometimes the problems we have in life are multiple parts where, although you have this huge problem, it involves other people that influence it, and it's out of your control. So if you deal with the problem from your point of view and you do the best you can, you have to release it. If it involves other people, unfortunately, once you did your part, until they do their parts, it's totally out of your control. This is something I have to deal with on a day-to-day basis, where I personally always want to put in 100%, but it involves getting other people's input, other people's perspective, and sometimes they just don't give it, or they say, oh, it's fine as it is. When I know it's not, but it's the best I can do with the information that was provided to me. But if they say it's fine as it is, you have to ask them for, well, I need documentation proof. I need an email to say, you believe it's fine as it is, and we'll move forward from there. A lot of my meetings involve word of mouth, so I have to say, well, can you just send me an email, just, with your ideas? And well, it's fine as it is. Well, no, just send me an email, and just so I know that you've already looked at it. That kind of thing. Just get them to put things in black and white, because sometimes we're dealing with so many people and them not pulling their weight. You have to have a way of saying, well, this next project, I don't think I can work with this person because we just don't have the same goals. And just let the chips fall as they may. Try to divert some of the stress that isn't your problem. And when you're open, and when you take the stress that doesn't exist anymore, you're more open to see more. Your eyes are no longer clouded with all the made-up problems. You're able to focus on what really is in front of you. That's one of the reasons why I like to walk in the woods. Because if I am totally focused on walking in the woods, I can see the birds and the bugs. There's some really pretty bugs if you pay attention. You can see the spider webs, and they're really pretty spiders if you really look at them. I get to see the toads. I love toads because toads don't hurt anyone. They just kind of go along their way. You don't bother a toad will never bother you. Snakes will never really want to bother you. Snakes don't want any part of human interaction. That happens a lot. Birds, on the other hand, for some reason they like to follow me and walk in front of me, but that's okay. I don't harm them, they don't harm me. And there's so many wonderful things Source will show you when you're ready to see it. So no, God does not work in mysterious ways. God is very straightforward. He's very cut and dry. Source tells you exactly what you need to know, but you have to have eyes to see and ears to hear it. And when you're ready, with your open eyes and your open ears, God, Source, your higher self, your spirit guides, they talk to you all the time. But that's just my opinion. I would love to hear other people's opinions. what's next?